Yes, ma'am. And I'm waiting on my change. She told me to wait for my change. Thank you, boo. How you doing? Tired. Woe out. Me too, baby. I can't wait till 12 o'clock.
I get off at 8.
PM?
4 to 8 a.m.
Oh.
I usually don't work on Wednesdays.
Oh, okay.
And I took off for the weekend, so they got me in here 4 to 8.
They say they gonna get it on the back or the front end. Corn buns. After watching the Cam Newton and Natalie Nunn interview yesterday, let's talk about my, I wouldn't say disdain, but I'm not the biggest fan of Cam Newton. You know, does he care? Absolutely not. You know, he doesn't care about me. But I used to, when his podcast first started off, I used to be an avid watcher, and over time I saw the difference in how women were questioned versus how men were questioned. Then it wasn't just how men and women were questioned. I think it was more so certain women, because with certain women, and I'm saying certain that way because, yeah, I feel like he knew who to play with and who to, you know, who he didn't take serious and who he did. You can tell by the verbiage, and y'all know I'm wearing no seatbelt, but I'm gonna put one on for you this morning, okay? Just so that loud thing, it will stop. On my way to work, today is today is the 31st. Okay, happy New Year's Eve, baby. Y'all is some strong women walking, baby. And they running now. And they older, Jesus. They fine too. That's probably why. Hey, so back to what I was saying about Cam Newton. But I did notice that it was more so, let me turn the light on so y'all can see me. It was more so whom he was interviewing, because no lie, I watched the interview with De'Ara, and I am at 44. I have been watching De'Ara since she was younger, and we grew together. And I know that baby old enough to be my child, but I love her to pieces. And the way stuff is, Casper the Friendly Ghost to her, and my Natalie, we'll talk about that later, but in my Natalie, clock that, you know. Natalie, you did your big one, okay? So she verbiages something that I have seen often with his interviews, and that's how he's very judgmental, because I know he does say that he is raised by his mother and his father. I can't recall specifically who is a preacher and who is not, but I know he does have a religious background. Y'all know what they say about the PK kids. My mom is a PK kid. Just how he started off the interview. And when I tell you, Natalie was like, he was talking about the Bad Girls Club, a lot of judgment. Absolutely. So he was talking about how she was a part of the Bad Girls Club, and they essentially, all they do is fight. And she was like, I can tell. I don't know what Natalie's sign is. I think she said she was a Taurus. Was she a Taurus? I can't remember if he was a Taurus. Listen, I got my key on, yeah. So, boom. He talks about, you know, how the bad is. And you can tell that he has not done his research on this person. So that's the first rule of whenever you are interviewing someone. I'm not even a journalist, but I do know when somebody's interviewing someone, that's the first thing you do is you say, like, you research, okay? You can tell that, hey, no research was done there, okay? He said that he had never seen, at least watch one show, you know, so you can be able to say you at least know the people that's in the show. I've never watched Baddies. I remember Tanisha, which listen, that girl, whether plus size or small, whether plus size or small, she always gave. Beautiful. When I tell you beautiful, that lady, hey, I love me some Tanisha. And she from New York. I always feel like I was from New York just because of the way I talk. Not talk like that, but yeah, my bluntness. And I appreciate, because you know what started me to even watch that one was because I watched the Lola Brooks. And y'all know, don't play with it, don't play with it, don't play. I love me some Lola. Y'all know I love me some Lola. I love that little young lady. She is adorable. She is adorable. And spoke with such elegance. You know, it's hard to find these younger kids that speak and have sense. You could tell people who grew up in a stable environment, my God, today. We'll have a conversation about that, because me and my friend both had a conversation, and I know they're gonna have some people who want to tussle with me about men who grew up with not having their mothers and are reared by their grandmothers. If they didn't do the work, baby, guess what these jobs gonna do? Get you on the front or the back end. But needless to say, that interview with Natalie Sensei Ball, when I tell you he thought he was a troll, that was Natalie's interview. And what I liked and did not like is that he had the audacity to, towards the end, he said, he asked somebody from his staff to bring him aboard. It was basically a board with Krishan Rock on it. Also somebody who Natalie Nunn assisted in her career. And it had 211,000 views. And she was like, that's what she's supposed to do. He thought that there was going to go another way, but it didn't.
Don't play with it, don't play with it, don't play with it. Come on, baby, don't play with it. Why would you play with me? I'm not the type of female that you play with, you know? At all.
So he shows her the board, and the board says 211,000 views. And he says, so do you think that you, first of all, when he started the interview, he was saying about how no, she started with, this gonna be one of your best interviews. We about to break the internet. And I appreciate her for saying it, because let me go back to the interview, because Krishan had 200, and this is no downgrade to Krishan, but people try to put people against each other when it's not even that serious, and they in the same realm. But you can tell, as Natalie say, she clocked it. Okay. And I just want you all to see, I don't know if you can see, but that's it right there. So I told you it was 211 views. That says 973,000 views. So she not only doubled, she has damn near tripled, quadrupled the amount of people that watched the show. So he, like she said, he was acting snooty, and I do notice that about him when it comes to certain situations. So he does try to get on his serious tip, But what kills me is, baby, you in a glass house, okay? Yes, he does acknowledge the 3 or 4 baby mamas. I hate that word. But the mothers of his children, Natalie applauded him because she says, having 9 children, I thought it would be more than that. And she said, you all talk so bad about me, but I'm happily married with a child. I go home to my husband. I'm not hoeing and going in these streets. That's a flex in itself because, sir, 9 children, 3 to 4 baby mamas. Listen. And then to always talk about how you were reared in a 2-parent home. I tell y'all all the time about those 2-parent homes. I was reared in a 2-parent home. I went through domestic violence. So just because you have both parents, that does not necessarily mean that you will just have a per se perfect life, you know? She talked about the interview overall. If you take out the animation of it all, it was a good interview. If you really sat, like if he listened to what she said most of the time, instead of trying to combat and, you know, because she said, he was very combative. Like he's accustomed to control. And guess what? She came and she controlled that interview, because at the end, she was not at the end, from the beginning, she began to question him. Once it got to the point where he was like, and he said it so smirkly and matter-of-factly, like, I ain't never watched Baddies before. Like, what I look like watching Baddies? So then she also has a song that she came out with. And he was like, I'm a man. What would I sing that for? And she was like, what are you talking about? It's the hyper male. I can't do that because that would be considered gay type vibe that he gives. Now mind you, your pants are tight as shit. You got on basically knickerbockers. You got on a, listen, it's damn near giving sis, okay? So, you know, you have all of these things on, but you are portraying something else. Just because you have, and I know a lot of dudes who have buku kids and are either down low or have, yeah, that's a whole nother video. But it's just like, you did not research this woman. You didn't do anything. So what, at that point, she like, I can see it clicked for her. Like, I can see in the interview when it clicked for her, like, what you got me here for? So it got to the point where she just started talking to the people in the background. Like, his staff knew more about Natalie and the people than he did. And he was like, and she was like, listen, as an interview, you know, you've been doing this for a while. I told you I don't really do podcasts. Put the damn iPad down and ask real questions. So he tried to spin it and start talking about the fighting of Baddies. So apparently they do fight on Baddies. Like I said, and I love her to death. Let me tell you how much I love her. After this interview, I took my ass home, and guess what I did? I put on Baddies. Did I watch it? Absolutely not. But I want her to get all the streaming credits that she can get just on repeat. In a YouTuber, you put me on your YouTube channel and let my videos run my views up for me. Okay, anybody who you like that's on YouTube, run their views up. Just play it and let it just be on repeat. All the videos, old, new, whatever, let it run. So he talks about the fighting. And baby, I want y'all to go look at the interview for yourself. Like they say, you got to know God for yourself. Go look at that interview for yourself. Because when she leaned back and crossed that leg, I knew a read was coming. And guess what her read was? She say, you the same nigga that beat up a mascot. Guess what he did not expect? That. Yeah, he didn't expect that. He didn't expect that. Yeah, he didn't expect that. He was a abada. Yeah. At that, now you bust the rhymes. Now you bust the rhymes. Like I said, I appreciated the Lola Brooks interview because it was laid back. The Era interview pissed me off to the highest level of festivity. I feel like that was an interview. You can tell when a person knows nothing truly about the person. Like, he knows that she's a YouTuber. She's, you know, she has views. He's looking at the aesthetics. But as far as taking time to get that to know her, he did not do that. He did not. Lola, I feel like it was more so laid back. I feel like he asked her more so generic questions, so it didn't seem so or, you know, cringeworthy. But that De'Ara interview for me was very cringeworthy. Very. From the blowing of the smoke in her face, it's just like, and Natalie addressed that too. She was like, you sitting up here judging me because Natalie was lit, okay? Natalie, she said, I need a refill. When I tell you, you can call her element, because baby, she was getting refill after refill. My good sis said, I gotta be drunk to be in this, okay? I gotta be drunk to deal with this. Just like some things, when it comes to how he approaches males, very research, very you know, it's something that you can tell that he's interested in. With the women, not so much. And when I tell you, even the questioning, the Era, she did good, and she dropped a lot of gems, baby, because that whole, yeah, you gotta watch hers too. It was hard watching hers. It got better toward the end, which is sad, but it got better toward the end. But overall, he was talking about how he wasn't gonna clock it, and baby, he was clocking it before Natalie finished with him. And he had the unmitigated gall to ask her, what does a baddie bring to the table? Sir, outside of money, what do you bring to the table? Because when she read him for filth about the broken homes, and she didn't say broken homes, but she said broken homes, because remember, sis has a degree. One thing about Natalie Nunn, and she owned it. She says, I am married. Happily. Y'all don't need to know what's going on in my relationships. Listen. She say, I am 3 or 4 different Natalies. Men can present themselves however flawed they are, and it's accepted. But you have, quote unquote, given this woman a fake Jezebel spirit when that's not what it is. Can we say projecting? We can say projecting. So that's it for this video. Y'all go watch especially the Lola Brooks. Don't play with it. Don't play with it. Don't play. That's my baby. I love that little girl. I love her. And when I say little girl, she's old enough to be my child. I love her. Like, I can, between her and London, those are some very sophisticated young ladies with a good head on their shoulder, and I wish them nothing but the best. Even her, she gave good relationship advice, okay? And he was taken aback by that, and she's young. Hey, my daddy say you can learn from anybody. But this is your girl, Miss Books to You. I hope you guys enjoyed it. What you call it? This is my Sex in the City ring. Remember Samantha? So I've had this since ex Cynthia. When we went to go see the Sex in the City, we dressed up. I miss those days. Y'all, when I tell you I'm getting back to me and loving it, I'll do a life update, very soon about just how things have been going since my transition out of my old job to my new job to school, and how I'm juggling it all, Que sera, sera. I love you guys. And I want to always thank you guys for the support. Yeah, thank you. Baby, y'all be looking for me. And I like it.
And then tomorrow, have a good day. But even if you can't have a good one, don't you dare go messing up nobody else's hair. Very good. Honey, this got dark.